Hey guys, I hope you can hear me. I'm standing at the Square of Gainesville, and where I'm looking, I'll spin around here, you guys might know about where I am. This is the square behind me. If I spin back around, right there is the new Brunel University Annex, and right there, in that direction, is the old Gainesville City Courthouse, just over this way. And if you were to ever walk over there, you would see a memorial to Franklin Delano Roosevelt regarding his visit after the 1936 tornado. You may have learned about this a little bit last year, but 1936, on the morning of April the 5th and 6th, actually, the 6th was when it hit Gainesville, but on the 5th and 6th, there was a string of 12 tornadoes that went from Tupelo to Gainesville. And the one that hit Gainesville has gone down as the 12th deadliest tornado in the United States history. It killed 203 people. So 8:15 in the morning, there was a tornado that was headed due northeast, and it converged with another tornado that was headed due east. It hit right here at 8:27 and just laid the place to waste. So when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was able to visit, he kind of outlaid a program or a plan on how to help the city of Gainesville recover. This was also right after the Great Depression, and he had initiated a lot of other programs through the CCC and the AAA, kind of an alphabet soup, to give people jobs and help redevelop some of the communities. And so if I spin back around, if you go down that direction towards Gainesville City High School, you'll see some of the parks that were created. You can see some of the different public works and services that were provided during that time. So when I visit Gainesville and I think about what happened here, I'm reminded of public policy and the benefits of public policy. And so we're going to talk about some of that with the remainder of this video. I'll catch you in just a second. All right, so I'm back, and I'm still in Gainesville, waiting for my son to get out of piano lessons, and about to take my daughter. My other one's back in the back somewhere, I think, playing around. I'm sure we'll hear her in a little bit. But I wanted to try to get a little bit more in here with you. And what I want to start off talking about with public policy is that the thing that makes this very difficult to come to common ground, because when you have a situation like what happened in Gainesville, or when you have a situation like what happened in New Orleans or in Biloxi or Gulfport after Katrina, no matter where you are ideologically, you want to help people. The problem is that people have a disagreement based in their values. So, for example, with drug policy, you have libertarians who, over everything else, are going to value freedom. And so they're going to say that drugs need to be decriminalized. Or you're going to have, from a conservative side, over everything else, they're going to value order. And so they would support controls over drug use. So if you think about that freedom, order, equality scale that I discussed with you, and is in the JANA in chapter 1 and 2, way back in the beginning of the school year, it'll help you to just keep that in mind. I think that wherever you are, lever-wise, will kind of dictate where you think policy should be. So there are three different types of policy. We have regulatory policy, we have distributive policy, and we have redistributive policy. And these three different types of policies you're going to focus in on the assignment on Thursday and Friday. And you'll be in different groups, and you'll be responsible for answering the questions solely about the group that you're in. You will turn in your individual responses to those questions. You can work with other people in your group for your topic. You're not responsible for the other two. We're going to combine answers from all three groups, but I do want you to individually submit to me your answers based on what the substitute gives you for your group. Okay, let's move on a little bit here. What I want to do is get eventually into some of the background on how we have our different types of public and domestic policy programs. But what I want you to understand is that our government does have different ways to try to achieve their goals. They have different tools that they use. Sometimes they'll use incentives. Sometimes they might use de-incentives or disincentives. Sometimes they have direct provision of services. They might set certain types of rules on who gets what, who doesn't get something. And as far as how we make our policy or how the government makes policy, there's 4 steps to this process. So the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to set an agenda. Then after they set that agenda, they're going to formulate a policy. So they'll actually create what the policy says. After they create what the policy says, they're going to implement that policy, they're going to carry it out, and then they're going to have constant evaluation. So if you think about a cycle that just constantly goes over and over and over again, this is how policy is carried out in the United States. Because we have a separation of powers, though, sometimes our different branches of government has a fragmented approach to the way that they carry out that policy. And when different branches have a nice working relationship, they take steps to combine together their efforts. Sometimes they have issue networks, and with these issue networks, they will utilize things like interest groups to help carry out these policies or make sure that people are being protected or taken care of. Now here's the rest of my crew getting back in from piano class. So the next thing that we're going to talk about when I come back will be the development of the American welfare state.